It's Azoria Stoneblade, it's Amulet Titan, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Castle.
Uh-huh.
Amulet Vigor. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Look.
Does not matter.
Oh,
That's.
I'm so proud. You're just on it. I'm so proud of you. It does not matter.
You got 2 amulets? You're ahead. It's better to not have it.
It's just true. I think. Oh, the bog. Found the bog off once upon a time. Did Zach Allen. So those cards will go to bottom. At random, bog will go to the grip. He may want to start the game with that, but he'll reassess. He'll start with a Forest and a Secure Tribe Scout. Not a bad start at all. As we head over to Kyle B. Pro Tour San Diego runner-up back in 2010. Lost in the finals to Simon Gertsen. We'll see exactly what Kyle B wants to do here. He's giving this a long, hard think. He'll start with the Flooded Strand and just pass the turn back.
Watch Boggemes on camera, day number 1, struggle with a big mana deck. A little bit different that time in Tron. Same deal. I don't know if he's that well equipped to be fighting these kind of fights.
Mm-hmm. This is an Amulet of Vigor that is being played after the Gemstone Mine comes down. So let's see how Zach Allen feels about this. See if Boggemes lets this resolve, and if it does resolve, what will occur. So, first things first here for Kyle. He's going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand. He'll get himself a Hallowed Fountain that's going to enter the battlefield untapped. And perhaps Path to Exile is on the way, a card that he is playing 4 copies of. He also has Force Negation in his main deck. 3 copies of that card. I think he might be thinking, I got to path this this Tribe Scout, even though I didn't want to. I think you might have to.
Well, we're looking at an opt-in response here, and I don't know if this is trying to get more information about how to sculpt his hand, to force of negation, et cetera, but
okay.
Boggemes taking a long time on this one, which makes me assume he has some sort of response, and he does here with force of negation.
Well, there is the Force of Negation. Going to slow down that Amulet. Now we head back over to Kyle. Tribe Scout's still ready to be activated. Colonnade will be the land there for Kyle. Now here's the Tribe Scout activation. Bojuka Bog going to come down, going to look to take care of this graveyard. So there goes the Force of Negation, the land, and the opt. We head back over to Zach Allen now for his 3rd turn of the game. Looks like he'll be going with the Breeding Pool that are in the battlefield tapped and just pass the turn back. So no bounce lands from Ravnica just yet, as Boggemes was thinking about playing something on the end step, but he won't. We'll head back over to Kyle now. Snow-covered island and just passing the turn back. Zach Allen will draw a card. You see his hand with Ancient Stirrings. Looks like a snow-covered forest. And not too much else going on. Now, him and Kyle are pretty good friends. They play at the same store, represent the same team, so I imagine they have access to each other's deck list, or certainly close to it. I think part of the reason you don't see Zach Allen play that Amulet there is he's worried about Spell Queller. Or excuse me, the Ancient Stirrings, is because he's worried about Spell Queller that Kyle could have.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be especially Allen's deck specifically, without ways to remove creatures. You can play into Spell Queller a little bit if you got just some bolts to work with to free your spell. Not the case with Allen, so he's got to be very careful about how he plays around Spell Queller.
There's your Castle Garenbrig. That'll join the fray. And now we go back over to Zach, who again has that Ancient Stirrings in hand. And now he's going to deploy the sorcery. Kyle is going to, unsurprisingly, spell Queller this. I think everybody knew that was coming. Zach did, you did at home, we did here in the booth. But what's done is done as we head back over to Kyle now. Kyle will very quickly play an island and come across here for 2 in the air.
Can't fend off this deck forever, though. Really like to speed up your clock here. Stoneforge Mystic would be great.
There's another Tribe Scout. So what you're seeing here is a player that doesn't really have much access to Primeval Titan or Summoner's Pact. Problematic, to say the least.
And at this point, does Boggemes just have the shields up for the rest of the game?
He may. His clock's pretty good. It's not great, obviously, because Snapcaster Mage is going to trade with the Tribe Scout. I'm sure he'd like to get in some Colonnade hits when he can. There is a forest. And Zach will just have to pass the turn back yet again. So we're going to head back Kyle's way. 2 more in the air. Comes the Spell Queller, which is, I think, right now one of the underplayed cards in Modern.
Well, this is another one that could be poised for a resurgence with the format being the way that it is. A lot of decks built around Urza. We've seen an uptick in Remand and Mana Leak this weekend, and it's possible that Spell Queller, another card that could be positioned very well going forward.
Take a look at those and find your way to your seats.
There's an attack for 2. Let's head back over to Zach Allen now. He's just going to pass the turn back once again. Anything going to change here?
Looks like just passing back.
Well, he is just passing back, yes. It's just, will Boggemes do anything on the end step? He will not. Snow-covered plains to draw. You see Cryptic Command, Mana Leak, Teferi, Teferi. Teferi, singular, Path, multiple. So a very reactive hand. Not the fastest of clocks here.
But as long as Allen does not find what you would assume 1 copy of Cavern of Souls, even if he draws one of his big threats, Boggemes has an answer. There's not really any incentive for him to move faster here in terms of closing out the game. We might see him at some point, if Allen is down to hypothetical 4, dial up the Colonnade and try to finish out the game that way.
It'll be Boros Garrison that comes in off the Secure Tribe Scout. Nothing too crazy there. Simic Growth Chamber the draw. This deck doesn't do this often, which is nothing, but this is certainly one of those games. Zach's draw has not been particularly good. Kyle has stopped some of the annoyances, most notably Ancient Stirrings, and Zach Allen has not found any way to find a Primeval Titan, be it Summoner's Pact, Primeval Titan itself, or Teleria West.
But unclear how successful that would have been anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, but his draw here appears to have just been mana, an amulet, and 2 Tribe Scouts.
There's a snow-covered island very quickly for Kyle. In for 2 more. Allen's going to fall down to 8.
Final round of Swiss. You have 50 minutes. You may begin.
Looks like Kyle's finally going to tap some mana on his own turn to play a Teferi. In response, we're going to see a Summoner's Pact. All right. See if this resolves or not. It looks like Force Negation is going to take care of that. Now Kyle's going to have to pay the mana to do that since it's happening on his turn. Now Teferi is going to bounce the Secure Tribe Scout, or at least try to.
I think Boggemes is thinking here is that if he's got Path left over, even if Allen spikes a Primeval Titan off the top, it's not that bad.
No, it really wouldn't be that bad at all. There's a Tribe Scout again. There's a Forest. And pass. Kyle, going to plus very quickly with the Teferi. Remember that Colonnade's hanging out down there. Not ready to fire it up just yet. So he'll come across, put Zach down to 6. So we might see Colonnade next turn. There's no Ghost Court or anything to really stop the Colonnade from getting in the final 4 in combination with the Spellcaller. That'd be 6 total. Well, finally, Teleria West. Took him a while to get there. Well, he's found the land of transmutes. Now he's going to, of course, you have to imagine, go get Summoner's Pack. Not exactly a Primeval Titan. Yeah, you're going to... There we go, bud. There we go. And Kyle's not going to let that happen. He says, Cryptic Command, counter draw, and we are all done here. Kyle Boggemes is going to win game number 1 here over Zach Allen. Pretty easy fashion. Azoria Stoneblade very quickly up a game over Amulet Titan. I still think a fairly good matchup here for Amulet Titan, but it didn't play out in that game.
No, Allen did not find a payoff card until way, way, way too late. By that point, Boggemes had the shields up, and no chance Allen was going to resolve anything for the rest of the game.
Well, we will take a look at the sideboards here. We'll start with Zach Allen and his 2 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Dismembers, 2 Oko Thief of Crowns, and he's got a lot of 1-ofs here, so bear with me. Field of the Dead, Ramunap Excavator, Manglehorn, Radiant Fountain, Cavernous Souls, Hornet Queen, Obstinate Baloth, Ghost Quarter, and an Engineered Explosives.
I really like the extra copy of Field of the Dead in this matchup. I think the Oko could give him another kind of dimension for offense. The extra copy of Cavernous Souls, very good against the counter spells here. This doesn't seem like a great matchup for any of the other creatures like Hornet Queen or Manglehorn or the Excavator.
Well, Boggemes has got a pretty varied sideboard as well with 2 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Stony Silence, 2 Timely Reinforcements, and 5 1-ofs here in Dismember, Supreme Verdict, Mystical Dispute, Ashiok Dream Render, and a Gideon Alive Zendikar.
Talk to me about those 2 copies of Disdainful Stroke. They're great here. Really like the Ashiok Dream Render and the Gideon Alive Zendikar as well. I'd probably bring in the Supreme Verdict too.
Well, those are the options there for both of our players. And again, number 2 will be underway here in just a moment after Kyle won that one fairly easily. So Zach Allen will be on the play here for game number 2. Tournament Zach's trying to qualify for it, and that we know you're all very excited to watch as the Players' Championship. A few quick details. We'll be right back.
It's been a while, but I feel like I've seen this movie before. Pass the turn back. Is it a top deck?
Oh
it's
my
a
God.
Pendlehaven. Pump and attack? Is this real?
Oh my God! Oh no!
Oh my God!
December 13th through the 15th at the Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia. You can, of course, watch all the action unfold over those days at twitch.tv/SCG Tour, which is where you are right now. Now, one player, again, who's looking to qualify for that tournament is Zach Allen. He's currently on the outside looking in as far as an at-large bid is concerned. At least I believe that's the case as we go over our Player of the Year standings right now. That number 9 next to Zach's name is the place he's in on this leaderboard. Now, do remember our top 7 unqualified players on this leaderboard will qualify for the Players' Championship. So right now, if we were to end things, Harlan Fear would be your SCG Tour Player of the Year. He's also unqualified, so he'd be 1. Zan Saeed would be 2. Matthew Dilks got it done last season, so he's good. Dylan Donegan isn't, so he'd be in. Oliver Tomico got it done last season, so did Abe Corrigan. So Ross Merriam, Dominic Harvey, and perhaps Zach Allen be the last one in. So there's still some work to be done here for Zach Allen. He's very close to making top 8 of another Open, which would solidify his chances even further here on our Player of the Year leaderboard.
Going to be a tight race to the finish, though.
I expect nothing but. We've seen some tight races over the years when we have had our Players' Championship. Seen some pretty crazy things happen at the last Invitational of the year as well. So pretty awesome stuff. And we'll see how things do unfold here in just a moment. Zach Allen, big match here, playing against someone he plays against locally, same team as Kyle Boggemes. And Zach Allen has demonstrated some prowess with a lot of different strategies here in Modern. I know he likes an Esper Charm quite a bit, but he's going to Amulet Titan this weekend.
I had a little conversation with Zach after a tournament recently.
Oh, do tell.
We were hanging out. As you know, he's playing these control decks, plugging away his top 32s, top 16s, some top 8s. No wins, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Those kind of finishes. And I was like, I have this feeling that playing like just the good cards, the card advantage, the removal that kind of captures everything, whatever. That's a really good way to pick up wins at your local store. And that's a really good way to make day 2 of these events. But in terms of actually winning the tournaments, eventually you run into good players who are playing with better cards, and then it matters that your cards are not as good.
Sure.
So I really appreciate that Alan's kind of expanding the range this weekend with Amulet Titan. Not exactly in, fitting the profile we've seen so far from him in the last year on the tour, but I think objectively a much more powerful deck than ones that play with, let's say, Esper Charm.
Yes.
The Kaya's card from...
Kaya's Guile is the card you're thinking of.
Yeah.
It's very versatile.
Yeah.
But not the most powerful card you'll ever see. It's not Primeval Titan levels of powerful.
No. So, opening it up a little bit.
With great success. 11-2 here this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Not that he hasn't had great success so far this year with his control decks. Anything but. It's been a great year for him. But I think something to be said for, the top 8s, but you're not winning the events that frequently. I think it speaks to, the top 8 is filled with other very talented players, and then the delta in card quality adds up.
Looks like Boggemes is going to send his hand back. So we'll see if Kyle's able to find a little bit better hand here in just a moment.
I've top 8'd some legacy events with Burn. I have not won one.
Notable.
Because, eventually...
catches up to
they have it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, they have it. You know what I mean?
Maybe they have. You know what they have?
Information to all of the best content through Star City Games via the newsletter.
Yeah, there he is.
Your source for Magic the
There
Gathering
he is.
news, curated by Cedric Phillips. Included in this newsletter is highlights from some of SCG's best articles, upcoming SCG tour dates and locations. Are you looking for some local events like an IQ game night? Find that there too. Best of all, signing up is free over at go.starcitygames.com/newsletter.
A beautiful transition by you, I have to say.
I read it. I'm a subscriber. I read it.
Good. It's not long.
Sometimes I read it front to bottom. Sometimes I just control F my name and close it and discuss when it's not there.
You don't write articles.
No, I know. There's a reason. I'm not saying there's no reason.
Okay.
I can still be annoyed by it,
Just checking in.
Yeah.
Just making sure we're being reasonable here. Secure a Tribe Scout to start. There's a Teleria West to pass the turn back. Boggemes started things off with a Celestial Colonnade. So we head back over to Kyle. This is a Stoneforge Mystic. He'll go a digging. And what will he find? It's a Sword of Feast and Famine. Secure Tribe Scout's going to put a land in. Let's see what land it's going to be. Looks like he's going to play a Dismember first. Take care of that Stoneforge.
Yeah, I was interested if Alan was going to go to the Dismembers. I think against a regular Stoneblade deck that just has Stoneforge Mystic, probably not. I think Spell Queller is a juicy enough of a hit that it moves it over the line.
Simic Growth Chamber came in there for Zach Allen. Now we keep this party rolling. Well, A little bit of mana floating here. Perhaps Zach's got a little something to do. He's going to transmute Teleria West. So no more mana floating. Let's see what he wants to go get. Cavernous Souls is the weapon of choice, something he did not have last game. I mean, to Zach's credit, he didn't have much going on last game.
No. A cavern would not have made a difference.
No.
A difference or anything meaningful.
No.
So.
All right, back to Kyle we go. As Zach Allen has 2 Simic Growth Chambers. Just an island and a passing of the turn. Here's a Tribe's got activation. There's a forest. And we're going to head back over to Zach again, who's got the Cavernous Souls in hand. So we could see something as simplistic as Cavern on Giant. And deploy a Prime Time. It's going to be Azusa instead, though. Lost but seeking. Kyle, going to quell it.
I mean, that's about as good as that card's going to get.
3 p.m. on the Legacy Challenge competitors. Your round one pairings are making their way to the pairing board. 3 p.m. to Legacy Challenge competitors. Your round one.
All right, Cavernous Soul is going to come down. We'll get confirmation on what that's naming in just a moment. And it's going to name Giant. Now here's a backup Azusa. Not a Giant, but does resolve. No lands to play afterward, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Allen's kind of just missing action like we saw in the last game. And that was the best window, you know, but Boggemes was a little bit on the back foot there. Allen had done a good job of accelerating his mana. He had taken care of the Stoneforge Mystic, so not really any pressure. Now the board is at relative parity. Definitely the case if Allen has no lands in hand, because the only things he has on the battlefield that are of note are things that play with lands. Mm-hmm. So if Boggemes can answer the Cavern of Souls, or just Allen doesn't have a payoff card, or it's something like Hornet Queen and the counterspell works the right way, whatever the case may be, Allen is in the same spot that we saw last game with just nothing going on.
See Kyle's hand there. He's got a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Sword of Feast and Famine, Stoneforge Mystic that he just deployed. Most importantly, he's got a Force of Vigor that can give him a little bit of protection, perhaps. So we head back over to Zach. Batterskull, the weapon of choice here for Kyle B. Let's see what ZA's up to as he'll draw a card. Well, that was a good one. Assuming that Vesuva is a Simic Growth Chamber, that looked like it was a Primeval Titan. And he'll play a Summoner's Pact, which I think Kyle's almost certainly going to counter. But we'll see.
I mean, there's no way you would let this resolve if you could fight over it, so.
He's got to let go of Disdainful Stroke to do it. And now Zach will play Prime Time anyway. So it is Prime Time. No Amulet of Vigor to go along with this. That's notable.
You know, there's a big question now of, from Allen's perspective, let's assume that your Primeval Titan is going to get hit with Path. If not, this is easy mode. You don't really have to worry too much about it. What's the best you can do in terms of setting up for the future? Now, there's one way of doing it, which is try to get a Teleria West, put that back in your hand, try to get Summoner's Pact, and go again with the Primeval Titan. That path is pretty appealing while you have Cavern Souls, because you're really only worrying about the removal spells. You don't have to worry that much about counter spells. Mm-hmm. The other option is to go to Field of the Dead and just try to play a long game that way. The issue I have with Field of the Dead in this spot is it's just going to get dominated by Stoneforge Mystic. That's going to be better than you making some 2/2s over time, to say nothing of the Spellcaller being able to hang back on defense. So I think Alan needs to kind of set up shop in such a way that he can keep chaining together these Primeval Titans while he isn't under that much pressure.
It's a pretty good spot here for Kyle to get the Sword of Feast and Famine on this Spell Queller, hit his opponent, untap all these lands, essentially making this free, adding a little bit of damage, and making Zach discard a card. So you got to like this exchange if you're Kyle.
Oh, this is a great spot. I mean, if you've got a path or something for the Primeval Titan, Alan really doesn't have a whole lot going on, and he can't keep resources back in his hand because of the sword.
Now, one thing that Kyle does have, he does have Jason Mind Sculptor. It looks like he may have picked up a copy of Teferi. So we could see him go to either one of these right now. Here is Teferi. It's going to bounce Primeval Titan. Kyle's going to draw a card. And what Kyle's done a nice job of this game is that when Titan comes down, it's not attacking.
Right.
I suppose some of Zach's draw hasn't cooperated as well. And you see Kyle's going to do a little bit of opting here and just simply pass the turn back. But I still like Kyle's position here because now he's got an active sword.
Well, also, you know, Alan's got to spend his turn. You know, he's got no cheat, as you mentioned. He's got no amulet. And so recasting the Primeval Titan is essentially his whole turn. He doesn't do anything explosive with it. If Alan wants to spend his turn doing that, that's not bad for you. You're closing out the game in not that many turns.
Well, this is interesting because there's Primeval Titan, trigger.
And Alan's last card in hand here is a Hornet Queen. He almost certainly has to get a bounce land to be able to return a land back to his hand to have a little bit of cushion for the upcoming sword trigger. Can't just leave himself with one card in hand.
That's a very good point. He's going to go get Field of the Dead and Teleria West. Now, remember, he does have Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold, so he can activate that, give the Titan haste, attack, get a bounce land on the attack. Right now, it looks like he's going to be starting to generate some zombie tokens. So there's two of them.
Yeah, this is a good-looking turn here, no question, but there's still the issue from Alan's side of can you just win this game in time, being so far on the back foot and being threatened to be killed pretty quickly here.
Here comes prime time. Azusa's going to go after Teferi, and the Tribe Scout looks like it might be going after Teferi as well. Again, Kyle's resources are entirely tapped down. All of his lands and creatures are tapped. Gruul Turf and Celestia Sanctuary means that not one but two lands are going to be headed back to Zach's hand.
This has been a great game, though. There's been an ebb and flow to it. A lot of the game being played both on the sort of macro positioning of the decks in the matchup and little details on the battlefield and with cards in hand. And the game still very much up in the air right now.
So a couple of lands headed back.
And Alan's done a good job picking up two lands here, one of which he can just throw away to the sword trigger, leaving himself with Teleria West and Hornet Queen, two prime cards here.
So Grading the Zombies is not hard for this deck to do. Field of the Dead is a great addition to this deck. It's easy to play. And now, if you're Zach, you can present lethal or close to it next turn. So we head back over to Boggemes. Now remember, Boggemes does have that sword that is active on that spell queller. So that means he can play basically a spell pre-combat and then one post-combat because he'll get access to all of his mana again.
The big thing is, can he contain the Primeval Titan, particularly a permanent way of doing it such that you don't have to worry about the Slayer Stronghold next turn? You know, you play Jason the Mind Sculptor and bounce it, then you get all your mana back. That plays good. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're still sort of in the same spot next turn as it relates to combat.
Well, here's Jace.
And not even going to the unsummon, which I think is a telling here.
He'll do some brainstorming instead.
Because Alan's going to hit so hard next turn that he can spend his whole turn redeploying Primeval Titan, and that's good enough.
And he might be on the hunt for something like a Supreme Verdict. Maybe Cryptic Command, tap and draw, which that's pretty good here.
Yeah, he's got some big draws, but sort of the normal measures at this point are not going to be good enough.
So the Jace Brainstorm is going to put 2 cards back on top. Okay. There's Field of Ruin. Land for the turn. So you have Batter Skull, Spell Queller, Force Negation. Those are not exactly what the doctor ordered. So here's the attack. So Zach Allen's going to have to discard a card. He's going to activate his Tribe Scout, put in a Celestial Sanctuary with the discard trigger on the stack. This is technically the sword trigger, of course.
Yeah, just 2 more, just another zombie for his trouble.
And now he knows which card he's going to discard. Now, I like this play here from Kyle. I think he's going to float a mana with the Field of Ruin. And he may activate his Field of Ruin to blow up a land. While he's still in combat. Yep, so he'll blow up the Slayer Stronghold. He'll get himself probably a basic Plains, if I had to guess. Yep. Zach Allen's going to go get a Snow-Covered Forest, which means he should get a zombie, I believe, from the Field of the Dead. You can see what an impact Field of the Dead's having on this game. And all that being said, this game would actually be pretty easy here, or close to easy if Kyle actually had a Cryptic Command.
Yeah, I mean, he would get in, a tap and draw, and then a land for the Colonnade or a piece of equipment to boost it up could just be lethal.
Yeah.
Still possible to steal this one.
Yeah, but unfortunately for him, he does not have the Cryptic Command in hand right now, so he's got to go towards something else, which is activating Stoneforge Mystic. Playing a Batter Skull. And now moving the Sword of Feast and Famine onto the Batter Skull, which does a decent enough job of checking the Titan. It's also worth remembering that the Batter Skull, the Germ Token, has lifelink.
Yep, so it's a big block on the way back. And also sets up for lethal the next turn.
Absolutely.
You can just move the Batter Skull onto the Spell Queller, and if all goes well.
There's no need move. It's pro green, pro black.
Oh, yeah. We just have covered however.
You just attack with the Germ Token. That you should not be losing this turn. And don't forget, because this Batter Skull is a 6/6, he's going to theoretically, you can put him in quotes as being an 18 life.
So how many zombies do we have here?
It's
8?
either 7 or 8. Let's look, it's 8. So that's 16. Tribe Scout is 17. Azusa is 18 damage. So if Zach attacks with everything, I think it would be lethal. He's going to transmute it to Larry West, which means he's got something in his bag to go grab, I presume.
Yeah, I'm not sure if having the... I guess the sword's got to be better than having the Stoneforge Mystic to block. Because you gain 2 through the lifelink. But if the math looks right, you can just get a Pactification here just in case something weird happens. And
There's another Primeval Titan. Curious what the plan is here for Zach. He's up to something, obviously. Sunholm. Gonna pick up Sunholm. Play Sunholm for the turn. He's got enough to actually activate Sunholm. So that was the trick here. Now he attacks with everybody. And he should have enough damage to get it done. Because he'll just give one of his unblocked creatures double strike.
yeah, I mean, he's... if Boggemes has nothing for 0 mana, then this is just lethal, and Alan's even got it covered with the pact now, so...
We continue to play on, folks. Back and forth we go. Zach Allen going to win game number 2 here over his teammate and friend Kyle Boggemes. Amulet Titan, Azorius Stoneblade getting ready for a 3rd and final one. Good match here.
Great game. That was a great game.
Got to remember, too, if Kyle loses this match, his top 8 dreams are basically dead. If he wins, he'll probably have to win next round because of the draw that he has. For Zach Allen, if he wins this match, he's into the top 8.
Yeah, his breakers are very good.
Yeah.
He should be able to even afford a loss next round and make it. I don't think all the X and 3s are going to be good, but Allen is near the top of the tiebreakers right now.
Well, these two players are going back and forth, and it's a lot of fun to watch between the two of them. We'll get to watch a 3rd game between the two of them in just a moment. Kyle will be on the play, of course, for that game, but we want to very quickly talk about SCG Game Night, the very popular promotion where every week in October, Bark Shadows partner. Bark Shadows.
Love this one. This one got a chuckle out of me.
I know it did.
Saw it for the first time. Anyways, you can head over to go.starcgames.com/game night to find the game night closest to you. That information also available in the newsletter you should be subscribing to. And stores, if you want to get signed up for game night, get these kits sent to your store, draw players in for some fun and friendly magic on the local level. Contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
There it is. Now, of course, these are also being added to our Creature Collection series as well. So, Bark Shadows with the full art on the playmat is available in playmat sleeves and player bundles. You can head over to go.starcitygames.com/Creature Collection and check out all of our members of the Creature Collection, including our newest edition here in Bark Shadows.
Hell yeah. Love it.
I know you
In
do.
for it.
Game number 3 about to be underway here between Kyle Boggemes and Zach Allen. If you are just joining us, I want to thank you for doing so. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan bringing you round number 14 of 15 here from the Indianapolis Convention Center. You'll have Ryan Overturf and Todd Anderson joining you for round 15. And, of course, the quarterfinals as well here in just a bit. Nick Miller, he'll be dialing up your feature matches all the rest of the weekend. You'll get to pick the quarterfinals at home. Don't you forget about that. We'll work our way through a semi. We'll work our way through a final. We'll crown a champion here. And don't forget, our finalists of this Open will get Players Tour qualifications for later on in 2020. So a big tournament for everybody that's attended. Big shout out to almost 600 players that made the trip down here to the Indianapolis Convention Center for our Open here this weekend. Kyle going to send that one back very quickly. We'll see if Zach wants to keep his opening hand.
Really seeing Oko take off as a sideboard card this weekend.
Oko is Busto. Oko is no Joko.
Yeah, if you're playing anything I know that the standards are a little bit different for Modern. It's a more powerful format, and that's, it changes the context for how we describe certain things. But if you're playing anything resembling a fair game of Magic, Oko is so good. So good. I was covering Oliver Tomiko in the backup feature match. I was doing light totals. And he played against a mono red prowess opponent.
Okay.
And he played Oko.
Okay.
And I thought, I don't think this person can beat any of the 3 modes. If this only had one of the 3 at random, I think that would be good enough to checkmark this game 99.9% of the time.
Okay.
Let me tell you about all 3 at the same time.
That's a lot to handle.
It's a lot to handle.
It's a lot to handle. Look, Oko is
You
no,
want to tap out?
Oko is no Joko, man.
You want to tap out for your Bedlam Reveler? I don't think so. I think it's a pretty bad idea. How do you feel about all this food?
Yeah.
Can't beat that. 3 threes? A lot better than your 1-2s.
That's easy.
A lot better than your
That's
1-2s.
easy. You better have a bunch of spells. That card's legit.
But you can
man.
only do it so many times. Just make something else into an elk.
It's what I would call pushed.
It's pushed.
It's a pushed card. A Matchbox 20 staple. Push. Whether you like to admit it, everyone likes Matchbox 20. You know it's true. You know it.
I don't think so.
You know it's true.
They were quite popular.
Yeah.
They had their time.
That's right, they did. You know where I saw them a lot on? VH1. Back in my childhood.
They were made
They
for
were
VH1.
made for VH1 back during my childhood days.
See, you and I had very different experiences as childhood.
Okay.
You had VH1. I had VH1 also.
Yep.
The box. That was the one that I
I don't
had.
know anything about the box.
It was the nuts.
I don't know anything about it.
You don't know what the box is?
No, actually, I don't.
It's insane. So,
Is it a channel?
yeah.
Okay.
So it was like bootleg MTV.
Okay.
But you could call in and spend like $1 or $2, whatever it was,
Okay.
and request the music video you wanted to watch.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. It was super it was super spammy ads, low budget,
Okay.
but the incentive structure is a little bit different when you could just order your own video.
Got it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I had Much Music growing up. Did you have Much Music?
What's up?
I had Much Music.
Never heard of it.
That was the Canadian MTV
Okay.
because we were close to Toronto and Cleveland, so we just got that.
Yeah.
Part of our cable package. So I used to listen to a lot of bad Canadian pop music.
How much Alanis Morissette?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
How much?
A
How
lot of
much?
Soul Decision.
How much Gordon Lightfoot?
Unclear. Our Lady Peace came through a lot.
Our Lady Peace.
Our
Yes.
Lady Peace is nice.
What about Avril?
Oh yeah, duh.
Duh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Avril was mainstream. Our Lady Peace was not mainstream, but I got a lot of them growing up.
Cardinal Offshall, whatever.
Don't know it.
Rapper.
I believe
Toronto, I think.
Okay. We got Amulet here from Zach Allen.
If that existed now, it would just be just Drizzy 24.
is
7.
that? I don't even know what
Drake.
I don't even know what you just said.
It would be nothing but Drake.
Okay. Force of Negation took care of that Amulet. Now here's a Stoneforge Mystic. Kyle going to go with Searchin'. Probably for Sword of Feast and Famine. Yep.
Free shot here for Allen.
Do your worst. He'll start by playing a Gemstone Mine. Gemstone Mine down to 2 mining counters. There is Oko. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh no.
Sorry about your tax boxes.
Yeah. A little food. Your turn.
You know how common it is in Standard to have 3 or 4 negates in your sideboard? You ask someone about it, and like, hey, you know, a lot of them got spells. A lot of my opponents got spells. Oko in Modern's going to be like, you know, they got a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
It's good against all of them.
It's good against everything. It's good against everything they do. Zach has a bunch of these in his sideboard. I have to imagine it's been good for him all weekend.
Yeah. I got some bad feelings about Goblin Guide moving forward, I got to say.
Probably great. Can you beat the food maker?
The food machine's going to be
Yeah,
tough.
it's going to be probably pretty hard, yeah.
Smash the smithereens your food.
Yeah. Look, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you're going to have to find a way to do it, man.
Yeah.
All right, Azusa. Thumbs up from Kyle. His food is an elk now. Oh, we're just sure. Just going beat downs. You'd snap him off with a battered skull. Would have been intense. He does have a dismember ready. All right, there's your sword. It's fine.
Yeah. Alan can always just respond with the dismember.
Yep. If there's an equip here, that thing's getting dismembered and it's light. Good night. Good night. Can't even force a negation to protect it. It's not your turn. It's your turn, not your opponent's turn. Zach will lose some life. That's some trouble now here for Kyle. And you know what? If Zach's able to win this game, and Oko is probably looking like that's going to happen, that's a big win for him. This is another top hit on the resume.
Yep.
And that gets him one step closer to qualifying for our end of the year tournament. So
expanding the range as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Elk.
Beatdowns, thanks.
Not even gonna.
Azusa hanging back, huh?
Come on, yo.
I'm gonna say missed the point of damage. The excavator passed the turn back. There's Flooded Strand, a little late to the party.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about right. It's the appropriate facial expression, I'd say. Here for Kyle B, who's had a good tournament in his own right. He'll just pass the turn back. Oko's actually pretty good in Legacy, too.
Yeah, I believe it.
Teamer Delver.
Mm-hmm.
Players are starting to put that in there.
I mean, if you resolve it in the mirror, it's probably, I'm guessing, more lights out than True Nemesis.
Might be.
Yep.
Might be. Either way, that's going to do it. Zach Allen's going to win this game and match over Kyle Boggemes 2-1. Amulet Titan's going to take care of Azorius Stoneblade. And for Zach Allen, it's a 12-2 start. He should be good to draw into the top.